forward with truth.
You might have noticed this week, Belfast Live had a report talking about more parents choosing to educate their children at home. It was really interesting to see so many parents getting involved in the discussion. So many parents saying this is a really good thing, and their positive experiences. Some being driven to it by, I suppose, wider educational trends. Some being driven because there isn't enough provision for SEN. But whatever the reason, there were many different parents saying the positive benefit that it was in their lives and also in their children's lives. So right now there's 1,100 children being home educated in Northern Ireland. But the real number's likely higher because that doesn't include the numbers of people who have never registered. So the number's probably closer to around 1,300 to 1,600. And when you put in people as well who've been, when you put in as well people who are in independent education, we're seeing a growing number of people who are choosing to buck the trend and not be part of the system. Now, that equates to about 0.5 of the population. So, compare that to the US, however, it's 12%. There are around 3 million kids who are home educated or are in independent education. So, it as we see in NI, it's very, very small, but it's still growing, as it is in the United States. So, this isn't about attacking mainstream schools. Many teachers are working faithfully under great pressure and are Christian. But the Bible reminds us that us parents have a primary responsibility for raising and disciplining children. Okay, so we see that in Deuteronomy 6, Ephesians 6, and even from the very creation mandate itself. So home education allows parents to be deeply involved in shaping not just academic learning, but also character and worldview. And it creates space for a Christ-centered education, where scripture, where prayer, and discipleship are part of the daily rhythm. For some, it's about personalized learning, recognizing that God has wired each child uniquely, and for others, it's about family closeness and desire to integrate faith and life more naturally. Yet others sort of believe that the methodology that they're using is better than the methodology of education that school provides, and that one-to-one learning provides invaluable benefits to the child. This growth reflects a simple reality. More Christian families are rediscovering their God-given role for their children's formation, and that is something to celebrate. But we also need to be honest. There are real challenges for those outside the mainstream system, especially when it comes to exams and accreditation. Limited exam centres, and then there are fewer schools and colleges willing to take private candidates compared to England. Private exam fees can add up often to 40 to 100% per pound per subject, plus extra charges for practicals like science. The choice of boards, families all often have to work around different syllabi, limited centres, and extra admin, and even in terms of the provision of curricula and syllabi, ACE is the only acceptable learning syllabi outside the system. So there's major support gaps. There's no centralised government or support for resources or tutoring or guidance. And I think in some ways that's part of the joy of it. The state isn't involved. But when it comes to accreditation, there are, and other issues like that, there is something that we as a collective could do. So for some families, this creates anxiety about GCSEs, A-levels, especially when moving on to university or further education. And yet, despite these barriers, more families are choosing this path, which they say something about the value they see in a more hands-on, intentional approach to education. As families, we should pray for and support all as Christians, we should pray for and support all families, those in mainstream schools, independent schools, and home education. And home education isn't for everyone. Home education, and that's okay, but for those called it, we should champion the idea that parents have God-given freedom to decide how to best raise their children. And the rise of home education in NI is a sign of a healthy diversity in how families approach learning. As this movement grows, there's an opportunity for churches, exam boards, and communities to better support parents navigating exam resources and pathways for their children's future. Whether in a classroom or in a kitchen table or through a blend of both, education isn't just about academics, it's about preparing children for life, for service, and ultimately for the glory of God. As Psalm 78 reminds us, we will tell the next generation of his praiseworthy deeds, the deeds of the Lord, his power and the wonders he has done. And that's the heart behind Christian education, passing on not just knowledge, but the knowledge of God. Folks, this is just a short one today. I've been at camp and I haven't really had time to do a lot of editing of some of the interviews I've done. Some really good interviews coming up in the next couple of weeks. I hope to get them up as soon as possible. But there is, we're going to be doing things a wee bit differently. I will be doing a few more shorts. I'll also be doing a few more. Well, I hope to do some stuff outside as well. So this is just a wee update about what's going on in the podcast, and also if there's, we've also got a new site so that you can support the channel. And what you can do is you can just link onto the wee site and buy a t-shirt, buy a mug, and that's just a way that you can help the channel and keep the content coming if you're enjoying it. Well, look, thank you so much for listening in. And it's good to have some good news because we've had some really, really bad news the past couple of weeks. But the idea of the growth of homeschooling is something to celebrate, and it's something to be for us as Christians to champion and realise that parents are getting more involved, more interested in their children's education. And I think some of that is coming as a result of the RSE stuff and the sexualization of children. And we want to see a change that's made in this country. We want to see a change where we do have a Christian education, where parental rights are respected and choice is cherished. So, a bit of a shorter one today, but some exciting stuff happening in the near future with the podcast. Really looking forward to seeing what God does next. But until then, remember this: to keep advancing Christ's kingdom in every domain and moving forward with truth.